When your child reads at school, they start by saying sounds which they blend to make a word. For example, at, mat. It's really helpful to practice this blending skill through some speaking and listening games that I'm going to show you here. And it's nothing to do with word cards or reading, no letters involved, just sounds. Okay? So level 1, you could say, right, we're going to play a game where I'm going to say 2 words and you're going to put those words together to make a bigger word. So I'll show you first. If I said pancake, you would say pancake. And then you try it with some other words. If I say sunshine, they say sunshine. Okay. Level 2, you do the same sort of thing, but this time you break words into syllable chunks. So you would say happy, and your child would say happy. You would say looking, and your child would say looking. Under, under, and so on. Level 3, you say, now I'm going to break words into smaller chunks. So here are some examples. You say at, your child says cat. You say at, they say bat. At, that. And they might notice that those words rhyme. Cat, bat, that. There are other ones you can do, and they can get a bit more complicated by having sometimes the first bit might have more than one letter, like sk, ip, skip, or ip, trip. Level 4 is where you would say all the sounds in a word. So when we get children to pretend to be robots here, so you would say k, a, t. They would say cat. You would say et. They would say net. Your child may already be doing this as we move children quite quickly onto this stage. However, these earlier versions are really useful for children who are struggling to hear and put those sounds together. And it's also useful later on for children to be able to break words up into bigger chunks for when they're reading or spelling longer words. So, for example, we wouldn't really want a child to approach spelling or reading looking by going l, k, because it's too long. We'd prefer them to see it in big chunks, look-ing. And when they're spelling, they think of it as look-ing. They write look, and then they write ing. So the examples I've used so far with the robot arms are what we call CVC words. That's where you have a word with a consonant followed by a vowel and then a consonant. So words like these words, d, o, g, they say dog. Et, they say net. But you can also use words with long vowel sounds in the middle, like these. Eat. That's still just 3 sounds. Eat to them. They can't see that middle sound has got 2 letters when you write it. So it's just, for them, it's just as simple as d, o, g. Okay. However, you can make it a little bit harder by choosing words that have that we call CCVC words, like og, and they say frog. Young children find it much harder to hear 2 consonants side by side, like the fr in frog and the sp in spin. The other kinds of words are CVCC words, like these, j, p, and they say jump. The hardest sound to hear in those words are the consonant that follows the vowel, and you can really help by making that sound stronger when you say it. So you would say w, e, nt, for them to hear went. We find this is really difficult for children when they're writing. So I'm sure many of you will have seen a child go to write went, and they actually write wet because they find it hard to hear the in went. So you can help by modelling went, and getting them to stretch out that word, went, w, e, nt, and that will help them to get that sound eventually. So the last thing to say is when you're using the robot arms, just stick to words with 1 syllable and really try and build this game into everyday life. So you might say to your child, Can you pass me the up? And they'll say cup. And it's time to go to bed. Bed, you get the idea. Anyway, remember, start easy and get harder and just have fun.